Hello?
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. I'm good. You?
I'm good. How was your trip to Guatemala?
It was fantastic. It was so much fun.
What'd you do the whole time?
We surfed and we hung out in the pool a lot, in the in the ocean.
Uh-huh.
And there was 13 guys from a frat from MIT that were there, so they helped me with my calculus.
Wow.
And
13 MIT students. Fantastic. Are you thinking of going there or?
yes, but it'd be for biology.
Okay.
And bioengineering.
Uh-huh. Cool.
If I can get in.
Cool. Yeah. I think I had told you that I thought I went to Guatemala. I thought it was north of Costa Rica, but I realized it wasn't. I was thinking of Nicaragua, I think.
Oh.
So, anyway, yeah, that sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a great trip.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to do SAT today?
Yes, please. We just had a killer calc test, so I don't think I can handle anymore.
Are you on Chapter 10 yet in Calc?
We are.
Parametric, vector, and polar functions.
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready. So I guess we'll tackle that on Sunday. All right, let's see. I got you as going through number 12, page 633. So let's pick up with number 13.
D.
Yeah, it seems like D has to be it. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking otherwise. Okay, yeah.
Wait, so when they say that the length of each side of parallelogram NMOP is 13, which sides are they referring to?
Well, this side is 13, that side is 13,
Oh,
that
okay.
side is 13.
I understand. Never mind. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So what is the area of LNOP? Okay, so
It's the formula for the area of a parallelogram.
isn't it the height times the length?
But is it the vertical height or is it the slant height?
It's the vertical.
Okay, that makes this problem easier.
So the height of the parallelogram is going to be 12 times 13.
Yes, or the area.
Yeah, sorry, the area.
The 12 times 13. However,
yeah, we need
they're not asking for the area of the parallelogram. They're asking for the area of the polygon.
Yeah, I'm getting my calculator, sorry.
All right.
Oh, never mind, I don't need it. So, LM is going to be 5. So, then you'd add 5 times 7.5 to the 12 times 13.
Where are you getting 7.5?
Base times 1/2 the height.
Well, the height is 12. So the area of that little triangle should be 30.
Mm-hmm.
And the area, What's 12 times? Do you have your calculator? What's 12 times 13? I thought it was 162. No.
It's 156.
156 plus 30. B. So you got to be a little careful here because they're kind of tricky. And when I first looked at this, I was going to answer A, which is the area of the parallelogram. But you have to add the area of that little triangle. And I just assumed that 162 had to be it because what could 12 times 13 be? But I was wrong.
N represents the sum of the prices.
Good. How'd you only get in the upper 500s on this test the first time through?
I have no idea.
I mean, seriously. If somebody would say, give me an over and under on your score, I would say 700. Just based on, well, I would, just based on the stuff we've done. And that's not counting the fact that you're a junior taking AP Calc BC, but
Well, thank you. That boosts my confidence a little bit. Ooh. So we know that 3x plus 1 is equal to x plus 7. Then we're going to need another side that's...
hold on, let's solve for x.
Okay. So 2x equals 6. So x equals 3.
So what are the sides?
10.
10, 10, and 10. 30.
So red crayon is 2/5.
Uh-huh.
And a blue crayon is 1/4. So let's say that we had 20 crayons.
Okay.
8 of those crayons would be red. Yeah, 20 is the answer.
Good.
C, 20.
Yeah, it's a least common denominator problem, really.
So it would be x plus y plus 6. Wait, so the initial amount? So if there are now x liters, y liters are lost. Okay, so it's x plus y minus 6.
Okay. That's good. You're better at these than I am. I would have looked at this and been a little confused and said, well, I see nothing but variables in the stem and variables in the answer. So I know that I can pick numbers and guarantee that I get it right. You see how that's true?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go through that process. I want you to get a little familiar with that. So give me an x.
2.
Give me a y.
5.
Okay, so if there's now 2 and 5 were lost and 6 were added, how much did we have to start with?
Three.
Yes. So what we want is which of these answers equals 3 given this x and y. Well, does yours, what did you say? You said A? No, you said, yeah, you did. Well, x is 2, y is 5, minus 6 is 1. We need that answer to be 3. Well, is there one there that is 3? Yeah, E.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe I made a mistake here. Let's check your answer. Give me an x that's greater than the y.
5 and 2.
So if x is 5 and y is 2, that means there's now 5 liters. 2 liters were lost, so that at one time there were 7, and 6 were added. So there had to be 13 to start with. If there was 13 to start with, no, hold on.
No, there's 1 to start with.
1 to start with. And there's now 5. Let's see, 6 were added, so there were 7. And we lost 2, so there's now 5. Okay. So your answer was correct.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, I think it's worth going through the picking numbers and back solving just because, well, I don't know. Actually, every time we get to a problem like that, you're pretty good at figuring out which equation it is.
So it's the base of the height of 12 feet, the length of each edge. Do I even need the height in this?
Well, this is a tough problem. This is the eventual triangle we want to look at.
Yeah.
Let's call that point A. What do I know about YA? It's 12. Question is, what is AZ? If I look at the base of this thing, that's AZ, right?
Yeah.
And this is 16. So what is AZ?
AZ is going to be half. Okay, so second part. It's 22 point. So it's 11.3 approximately.
Now solve for Z. Well, that's not a good letter to call it. Let's call it little a. Now the problem here is you're going to get a decimal. In other words, because we went away from the radical designation and to decimal because you have a calculator, that's fine. So let's come up with a decimal answer for A and figure out which of these answers is equal to that decimal.
Okay. It'd be about 5.
No, can't be. It's the hypotenuse of that triangle. It's got to be greater than 12.
I'm using 2 of them. Sorry. So 16.49. So 16.5.
Did you say 15 or 16? 16.49? Okay. Well, let's see. That's not that. That's not that. Square root of 13 is what? It must be 3 and change. That's a possibility. Square root of that is 4 and change. That's even better looking.
Yeah, it's 6. Yeah, it's 417.
Okay. So let's figure out if there's a way to do that so we don't convert the decimal. Well, notice this right here. I can factor out a 16 from that, and meaning I can take a 4 outside the square root sign. In other words, 1/2 the square root of 16 squared plus 16 squared is the same as 1/2 the square root of 16 times 16 plus 16. Then I can remove that as a 4, so I get 2 times the square root of 32. Well, that's got another 16 in it, so now I got 8 square root of 2. This whole thing is 8 square root of 2. And now if I plug in 8 square root of 2, makes this math a little bit easier. I'm not sure I'm really making it easier here, but just to let you know how we would do it. 64 times 2 is 128. So what's that, the square root of 272? And that obviously must reduce to 4 root 17. In other words, 16 must divide into that 17 times. So actually, the way we did it, as long as they're going to allow you to use a calculator, you're better off doing it the way you did it.
Okay.
Even though all the answers are in radical form, being able to do it in decimal is quicker than doing it in radical form. And decimal is just as good as long as we can test each of these answers in decimal. Yeah, my computer's acting up here. Let's see. Hold on. All right. Every now and then my computer does this, and I don't quite know how, but anyway.
After the first term, I feel like that'd just be 1-to-1.
Well, I want you to get away from just that feeling, because you're smart enough that you can figure out what this is. So don't just go with your feeling.
Well, if it's n,
What's the next term?
the next term is 4 times
No.
1/4 n.
No. It's 4 greater than 1/4 n.
Oh, then it's 1/4 n plus 4.
Yeah.
So it's b. It's n plus 4 over 4.
Again, you're way ahead of me. So you did this math already?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, what's the numerator? The numerator is n plus 16 over 4. The denominator is n. So now I have n plus 16 over 4n. That's the answer. That's C. So what did you do? I'm curious.
I don't understand why there's an n in the denominator.
Because they want the ratio of the second term to the first term. That's the first term.
Okay.
And that's the second term. So the ratio of the second term to the first term is that, and then we need to do some algebra to simplify that.
Got it.
All right. That's the first one it's even given you a hiccup, so. Notice why the answer you thought was right isn't on there.
Yep.
Because one's in inches, the other's in feet.
I don't understand this at all.
Okay. If they were both in inches, it would be 200 minus 3 times g, or 8 times g. Now, hold on. Each one is 8 inches. There's 3 pieces each. So what is that? What's 3 times 18? 24. That's 2 feet. So
Yeah,
each one is 2 feet. So it would be 2g.
It's B then.
Yeah.
That's not that hard. I just misread it.
No, it's not hard at all. Especially with their little caveat at the end. And that is total help, because everybody in the world taking this test knows that 12 inches equals 1 foot. What they're basically doing there is giving you a little hint that we put one of these dimensions in inches and the other one in feet.
Great.
Actually, it is. And the fact that they didn't put the trap answer on there. The trap answer would have been what? Actually, they did put it. They did not. The trap answer would have been 200 minus 3g, or, well, 3g, because if everything was in inches, it would be 200 minus 3g, but so they're not totally cruel.
Just half cruel.
Actually, I've noticed that they do that. They tend to not want to win by tricking you.
Yet they still do.
Well, they still try, but okay. Here we have a question. All right. Center of the circles at the origin. Points are -3, +3, 0, 3. Obviously, this one is 0, -3. What's the probability that a randomly selected point from within the circle will fall within the triangle formed by those 3 points? Less than half or more than 1/2?
Less.
Unfortunately, all the answers are less except D and E, so we can eliminate those. So we're limited to A, B, or C. Well, probability is all about areas. So we need the area of the triangle and we need the area of the semicircle.
Well, it's a 45, 45, 90, so it's an isosceles.
Okay. Actually, I stated that wrong. We're going to need the area of the triangle divided by the area of the full circle.
The area
Area of the triangle is pretty easy. What's that? Base, 1/2 base times height. What's the base? Emily, did I lose you? I think I did. Excuse me. Let me check. Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? I can't. Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh, yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I lost you for a moment. Let's go back. What's the area of the triangle?
The area of the triangle.
Yeah, 1/2 the base times the height. Okay, 9. What's the area of the circle?
9 pi.
So what's the ratio of the area of the triangle to the area of the circle?
1 over pi.
Yeah. Alright, looks like I gotta go to a different page. When do you take this test? Not till the... Oh, it's not in the spring?
Hey Mom, when am I going to take these SATs? June 7th. I'm taking it June 7th.
Okay, I was just wondering whether we're going to run out of high degree of difficulty problems, and we probably will, but I can always find more, I guess.
We can start going through the ones in my book, too.
Yeah, okay.
AP stuff, too. Yeah, or we could go over the AP stuff.
When, do you have any idea? I presume after Chapter 10 you'll stop and start going over AP review?
I really hope so.
Yeah, I've got a couple of AP tests that we can review, so.
I do too.
Yeah, okay, good.
And then the test is on May 7th.
The AP test is on May 7th?
It is.
Wow, when do you get out of school?
May 23rd.
So what do you do from May 7th to May 23rd?
I have no idea. Probably study for our final.
So you have a final calc test in addition to the AP test.
Yeah, it's kind of cruel.
Yeah, you'd think that at least they would do it at least they could do it the other way around.
Yeah, we've decided to classify it as cruel and unusual punishment
Ah, for sure.
for signing up to take a hard class.
Yeah. I just worked with a college student 2 days ago who just got into parametric calculus.
Oh.
Oh my God. It was wicked for me. I've got 2 books on calculus, and I've read each chapter on parametric stuff 2 or 3 times, and he was still able to ask me a question that I had no idea and no example in either book to use as a go-by. I know it was terrible. I couldn't answer him. I couldn't help him. Gave me a second question. I couldn't help him. Finally, I could help him on the 3rd through the 10th, but
well, that's good at least.
it's embarrassing, I know. Nothing worse than being a tutor and you can't answer the questions. All right, how about this one here? This is a grid problem, non-multiple choice.
Oh, there it is. I was looking at the wrong figure.
You were looking at the triangles?
Yeah. I was like, I don't see a D. AB equals DC. A equals 3. AB is 1.
No. What's AD?
AD is 3.
AE is 3.
Oh, never mind. AD is, sorry, 1.5.
Okay.
So AB is 0.5.
Okay. If you suffer from anything, Emily, it's answering too quickly without thinking a little bit more about it.
Sorry.
Oops, hold on. Let me move this. What'd your mom say?
She said I should take a pencil and paper and write all my thoughts down so it slows me down.
Oh, that's okay.
Might help.
I think you suffer just from what most people suffer from, who are smart. They want to do it as quickly as possible. What's D here?
Oh, so, 40, so that's going to be 140, 70.
Good. Oh, this is good question here. Notice what this looks like.
Oh, no.
What does this look like?
Looks like a series.
What kind of series?
One of those,
Partial fraction series.
yeah, that cancels each other out.
Yeah, so what's the answer? Just looking at it.
It's going to be 2 minus 1/9.
Good. That's clever. It's the first time I've seen a question where having had infinite sums is helpful.
But it's not necessary. A is bigger than B. Oh, bigger than Okay. So 2A has to equal 1/4, so A can equal 1/8.
Okay?
Oh, but B,
No,
no, that's
not
wrong.
really.
That's wrong.
because that would mean 1/4 plus 3/4 is equal to 1, but B has to be greater than 3/4.
Yeah. So A could be 1/5.
Exactly. A has to be less than 1/4 or 1/8. Oop. A has to be less than 1/8, right?
Yeah.
Or
So it could be
hold on,
one.
did I make a mistake there? What was your
No,
first answer?
my first answer was 1/8. And my
Okay,
second answer was 1/10.
so it has to be less than 1/8. So 1/9, not 1/5. Oh, I love these questions. So what is R?
R has to be the square of a number. Well, the square root of a number.
It's got to be greater than 5 and less than 6. If the area of the circle is less than 36 pi, that would indicate R is less than 6. And if the area of the circle is greater than 25 pi, R has to be greater than 5. The diameter of the circle,
It'd have to be 5.5 so that the diameter could be
very good,
an integer.
very good. That's an interesting problem, yeah. Yeah, it has to be 11, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Precisely. Oh, hold on. Ooh, no. What's the answer to 13? I didn't read it carefully enough. What's the radius of the circle?
5.5.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was answering 11, which was the diameter.
Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, so would I have to solve and get the y's on one side and the x's on the other?
Well, right off the get-go, I'm not sure. And when you're not sure, you generally do whatever you can do. So let's multiply both sides by x minus y, just to see what happens. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Okay, now if we put all the x's on one side, all the y's on the other, we
You
have
get negative 6x equals negative 6y. Oh, negative 8y.
okay, which means x over y is equal to what?
8/6.
I'm not sure they would give you credit for that, but I don't think you'd put that down anyway. I think you'd put 4/3 down.
Okay. In a recent union poll, 80% of Ew. Okay, so 80% of 550 is 100 and that, so times 40, it's 480. So 148 voted yes.
148 or 480?
480 voted yes.
Okay, that's all right.
125 did not vote. So it'd be that minus 30 minus. So 845 voted no.
So 720 plus 125, yeah. Okay. Wow. What's this question doing on there? This is like there's a test to get into grad school called the GMAT, and it's the toughest test I've come across, bar none, bar calculus, bar anything else. And what's tough about it is what they call data sufficiency problems that are all set up exactly like this.
Oh boy.
Well, this is different. It just reminded me of a data sufficiency problem. It's not really. The data sufficiency problem is where they give you two facts and they say, is that enough to solve the problem or not? And you can answer, yes, that one alone is, or that one alone is, or both of them in combination are, or both of them in combination are not. But it is tough, let me tell you. It's shocking that the GMAT is the toughest of all of the graduate school tests. It's definitely tougher than the GRE, which is what is used to get into science graduate school. I applied to graduate school at Mines in geophysics, and I had to take the GRE. And the GRE is a piece of cake compared to the GMAT. And the GMAT is what you take to get into business school. Who knew?
That's really weird.
It is really weird. What it tells me is that business school wants to make sure they get the smartest people that are out there. Whereas science doesn't care so much. It's very counterintuitive, yes. All right, we're not going to be able to solve this one by back solving, so we're going to have to set up the equations. What's the first thing you want to do when solving a word problem when you have to do the algebra?
I don't.
Define your variables. Define your variables. Once you define your variables, everything else kind of flows. It's amazing how effective it is just to define your variables. So let's let F be the fixed cost. And let's let L be the cost of each layer. So the total cost of a 3-layer cake is $62.50. What kind of an equation can I write there? Your dog doesn't sound happy.
No, she's not. She wants to go for a walk. Yeah, she really wants to go for a walk, and she's letting us know.
All that just for that? Wow.
Yeah, she's very talkative.
Yeah. So if F is the fixed cost and L is the cost of each layer, and a 3-layer cake is $62.50, what equation can I write?
Oh, another 3 layers is going to be the difference between. So 3L equals 85 minus 62.50.
Wow, you're so far ahead of me. It's unbelievable. So what's the cost of a 7-layer cake?
It should be $92.50.
So you figured out the fixed cost also.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you do that? So you said 3 layers cost $22.50, so the fixed cost must be $40. Because we need that fixed cost, because now we're going to multiply 7 times $7.50, but we have to add 40 to it.
Oh, I just added
What'd you do?
750 on to 85.
Oh, of course. What am I thinking? Of course.
Not quite as smart as you're giving me credit for.
No, much smarter. I did it the long way. You did it the hard way. I mean, you did it the easy way. I actually went through and figured out F, which is completely unnecessary. Once you figure out L, now you have it. You did it absolutely the best way.
I don't understand the wording on 17.
If I increase 20 by 50%, what do I have?
100%?
No, if I increase the number 20 by 50%,
Oh, by 50%. You have 30.
I have 30. Okay, so now we understand the problem. I'm going to increase the number 45 by p%, which means I'm going to multiply it by 1.0p. That's how you, in other words, when I increase 20 by 50%, I multiplied it by 1.50. There's my 50%.
Okay, and that's equal to 75 divided by 1.0p?
Well, if we decrease it, we multiply it by 1 minus p.
Okay.
Hold on, let me think a moment. I hadn't got to that part yet. Let's see. Is the same as decreasing 75 by p. So if we decrease 75 by 10%, we would multiply it by 90%. So I'm going to decrease it by 1 minus 0.0p. Right? If I decreased 80 by 10%, that's the same as multiplying it by 0.9. Right?
Okay.
So decreasing 75 by p% is the same as multiplying it by 1 minus p%, which is that. Hold on, what did I do here? This is... Just a second. Yeah. Hold on. If we can just come up with an answer, we can check it. What am I doing wrong here? I'm increasing 45 by p%. So if p were 10, I would increase it by 1.1. So I'm multiplying it by 1 plus p divided by 100. There's where I was going wrong. And over here, I'm subtracting p divided by 100. Yeah, if I increase 45 by 50%, I'm going to multiply it by 1.5. If I decrease 75 by 50%, I'm going to multiply it by 0.5. So this is the correct equation. Now we need to solve for p. So what do we have? 45 plus p over 100 plus 45p over 100 equals 75 minus 75p over 100. What would be the next step in solving this for p?
You do 30 equals,
What's the easiest thing to do? All right. No, I like where you're going. Go ahead.
so it would be 30 equals 110p over 100?
I think it's 120.
120?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're right. 120p over 100.
Which is 6/5. So P is 5/6 times 30, or 25.
Gotcha.
Now, even though I would not suggest you take the time to do this, in other words, as long as you can look at that number and see that it's in the ballpark, because it's going to be hard to figure out how to increase that by 45%. Do you have a calculator?
I do.
Multiply that, see what we get.
I get 36.25.
And P was 25, so we're going to multiply, we're going to decrease 75. We're going to multiply 75 by 0.75. Ah.
56.25.
It's not the right answer, is it? What's the value of P? Oh, I did this whole thing wrong. We need to multiply 45 by 1.25. What's that answer?
56.25.
There we go. And now 75 by that's the same number.
Yay. So he uses 5 different tiles, and he uses them in possible color pairs.
So is that this?
I don't know.
Red, blue, yellow, green, pink. He lays them down in pairs of different colored tiles. He uses each possible color pair. Red blue is the same as blue red. That means it's a combination problem, not a permutation problem. So I was correct. We have 5 kind of tiles that we can take 2 at a time. What is that? Do you know the formula for combination?
No.
It's 5
Well,
factorial divided by 3 factorial times 2 factorial, which is 5 factorial, which is 5 times 4 over 2 times 1. So there are 10 different possible combinations of colored pairs. In other words, you can have red blue, you can have red yellow, you can have red green, you can have red pink, and go through that list, you'll get 10.
Gotcha.
So if he uses each possible colored pair exactly 3 times, that's 30. How many tiles are there in his bathroom?
$30.
60.
60.
There's red, blue. There's red, yellow. If you don't know how to do combinations, then there's not so many that we can't count them out. There's 4. Now we have blue, yellow, blue, green, and blue, pink. There's 3 more. And then we have yellow, green, and yellow, pink. There's 2 more. And finally we have green, pink. So there's our 10 possible combinations. So if we use each one 3 times, we have a total of 30 sets of pairs. That's 60 tiles.
Gotcha.
Do you know what this is?
No.
That's 5 factorial over 2 factorial. In other words, n choose r is n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. Notice there's 2 n's and 2 r's in that. Whereas NPR, National Public Radio, is n factorial over r factorial, I think. You're probably not going to...
National Public Radio and National Crisis Records.
Yeah, really. I don't think in general you'll be tested on this. I don't think you have to know what the formulas are for that, although it was helpful here. In other words, it was easier to do this as n choose r than it was to list all the 10 possible pairs. But notice, did you see what I did when I listed the pairs?
Yes.
Started with that, and then did that, and then that, and that, and then that, and that, and then that, and that, and then next I did that and that. In other words, if it's a counting problem like this is, you don't need to know your combinations and permutations, but you do need to know how to count out those 10 possibilities. All right, let's do one more here.
Ew. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if there's 8, so it'd be minus 12 plus 8, so it'd be oh, never mind, it'd be plus 12 minus 8, so it'd be 4.
Very good. Definitely the quick way to do that, as opposed to the very, very slow way, which would be to actually add 3 to each of the odd terms, sum up that sequence, and compare it with this sequence. I like the way you did it, much better. Yeah, let's do one more. You should know this one easy.
Oh boy. It's Y. I mean, it's E.
It's which one?
E.
E.
Right?
Yes, it's minus x squared that's been vertically shifted 2 units up.
Yay.
In other words, the minus x squared merely puts the parabola pointing downwards at the origin, and shifting it 2 units up moves it up to there. So it's E.
Sweet.
All right. Very good. The vacation did you good. You were almost
Yeah.
near perfect on these questions today.
Oh. Yay.
All right, I'll see you Sunday at 4:30, right?
Yep, sounds good.
And we'll be doing chapter 10. Are you starting on 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3?
We've done 10-1 and we're on 10-2 right now.
All right. I'll be ready.
Sounds good. Thank you.
See you at 4:30.
See ya.
Bye-bye.